So I've done a lot of workouts. I bought my first set of dumbbells when I was about 16, but I got really serious about training in my 20s when I got into MMA and I was doing sandbags, hill sprints, just everything you could think of to try and make myself better. But then when I was about 28, I got the opportunity to join a magazine called Men's Fitness. And that was when I really got to expand my horizons. I was training with Olympic gold medalists, champion boxers, like military guys, just all sorts of different people. Very smart trainers who are like paid very well to train celebrities and get them in shape, that kind of thing. So I've done a lot of different stuff. And something I should say is that I don't think workouts need to be hard to be effective. Some of the best workouts I've ever done have actually felt like very manageable, but they've been really carefully designed to get me better at something. But also I do think it's important to be able to push yourself. This is partly because sometimes you need to be able to get after a PB that you're looking for or the physical shape you want to be in. But also for everyone, hard workouts build character, and learning to work out hard helps you in other areas of your life. I think this is really well summed up by something that Mark Twight, the creator of the Jim Jones program, once told me. I like to build workouts where people have a moment where they realize it's harder than they thought it would be, because did not finish is not okay. Practice makes habit. When I practice overcoming difficult challenges, I get used to it. Get used to finishing. So with that in mind, I thought it would be fun to talk about the 10 toughest workouts I've ever done. And speaking of Mark Twight, okay, so workout one is probably one of the most famous workouts in the world. It's certainly still one of the most searched workouts and one of the most popular workouts on YouTube, even nearly 20 years after the original film 300, which it was created for, came out. It was made as kind of a final test by the guys at Jim Jones for the cast and crew of the film 300. It's not something that you're supposed to do every day. It's not something you're even supposed to do every week. It's like a one-off test to see how good you are at a whole range of different physical skills. I did it alongside the team from Jim Jones when they came and did a seminar in the UK, and that was certainly one of the hardest workouts I've ever done. If you're not familiar, it's 300 reps in total, which includes 25 pull-ups, 50 deadlifts, 50 press-ups, 50 box jumps, 50 floor wipers, 50 one-hand clean and presses with a kettlebell, and 25 pull-ups. Now, that is quite a lot of reps already, but also I should say that when we did this at the Jim Jones seminar, that was pretty strict. So those pull-ups were chest to bar, no kip, that means no swinging your feet, no pulling your knees up. If you did that, it was a no rep. Box jumps onto a 60 centimeter box. Deadlifts with 60 kg, which is not that difficult in the grand scheme of things, but very hard in the context of this workout. And the floor wipers are kind of a thing where you touch your toes to a bar on the floor. It's a very unusual exercise. This is just a whole lot of incredibly hard things. I think I got to the last set of pull-ups in 19 minutes, which is not too bad. And then the last set of pull-ups took me 5 minutes because my arms were just so fried from everything else. Like, no one thing here is that difficult, but together, all of it is just, this workout, I've only put it top 10, but it was pretty nasty. Workout 2 is completely the other end of the spectrum from 300. This is just one movement. It's just running. It's the simplest thing you can do. It's also one of the nastiest. I did a lot of 400s for time. I was trying to improve my 5K time, and I was doing that by doing long runs, but also by doing a lot of intervals. So my typical 400 for time workout was I would do a 400 meters pretty close to as fast as I could. Certainly try and keep it under like 90 seconds. 90 seconds recovery, and then repeat that like 5 or 6 times. The first one should probably feel like manageable, and then the last 5, you're just hanging on. It's just horrendous. Your lungs are burning. You can see the finish line. You just got to get around the track. I have so much respect for middle distance runners. It's such a tough, mentally taxing sport to do, and I really recommend trying some 400s for time. It's not going to mess you up if you're a lifter. You can kind of go at it. You don't need amazing sprint mechanics like you do for shorter distances. You can get out there, put some work in, hopefully make yourself faster. It's a great workout. Okay, so 20 rep squats is extremely unpleasant. So if you're unfamiliar, the basic idea is you put a weight that you could probably do for 10 reps onto a bar, and then you squat it for 20. Now, that obviously seems like it should be impossible, But the way you do that is that you're allowed to rest for as long as you want, as long as the bar stays on your back. So like a typical set might take you 5 minutes or something. You do maybe 5 squats, then you start to breathe. You take a breath between squats, you do another 5. Then it's on to like, they start to get tough after 10. You might want to take a few breaths, you might rest a while, but you're resting with that bar on your back. So you're holding that bar across your back. This starts to really like get into your shoulders. It gets quite painful after a while. You get that kind of lactate buildup. It's really nasty. All you want to do is put the bar back. But the thing is, with that kind of weight, you can pretty much always do another rep. It's basically about whether you're prepared to put yourself through the pain of like going down and making yourself get back up again. Like I did this, I think for about 4 weeks, and like sometimes my mouth just tasted like blood, which probably isn't that great. But yeah, I think I did this the best way. I did this every week for about a month as my main squat workout. And I went from, I think, 90 to my top weight that I did it with was 20 reps with 105 kilos, which is pretty nasty. And yeah, that would do me for the week. It's an amazing workout to do if you want to build your legs. It puts so much like tension on your quads and your hamstrings, like your legs will grow, but it's really not that pleasant. Okay, so you probably know what a Bulgarian split squat is. It's the move where you put the instep of your foot on like a box or a bench, and then you use most of the weights on your front leg as you like descend into something like a lunge. Your trailing knee goes quite low, and then you drive back up again. Now, the difference with sprinter split squats is that after 10 reps of a Bulgarian split squat, you're going to pause at the bottom of the move, do an isometric hold for 10 seconds, then go straight into another set of 10, and then repeat that whole process as many times as you can. There's quite a well-known physiologist who insists that his Olympic sprinters, his other sprinters that he's kind of working with, should be able to do 3 sets of that in a row with good form before he like considers their leg strength and their sprint mechanics to be on point enough to like really, really put the effort in other areas of the gym. So I think that's a great bar to kind of look at where you are. Now, I did this again at a seminar once. We were all going for as many as we could. I got, the best guy there got 9 sets on one side. He was a fell runner. He was very strong and very tenacious. I think I got 7 sets, and then my hearing went kind of weird. So this is one of those workouts that really creeps up on you. First couple of sets, fine. By the end, you're going to collapse probably. Now, this is a rowing workout. Like, I got it from someone else, but I call it The Descent because, much like the film The Descent, it kind of starts out all fine and then it ends absolutely horribly. Okay, so the rules of this one are, you start by rowing 500 meters in 2 minutes, which is hopefully going to be fairly easy. If it's not, pick a longer time. Then you rest 90 seconds, and then on the next interval, you're going to try and row that same 500, but do it in 1:58. Then you're going to rest another 90 seconds. Next interval has to be done in 1:56. And then you just go on, and it's called The Descent because you just keep going down until you can't make that interval anymore. Now, if you're anything like me, I think my 500 meter PB is something like 1:27. But you are going to fail quite a long time before that because you're not really going to get the recovery from the other moves, and it's never very nice. It's a great way to push yourself. It's a great way to have a fast workout. It's a real mental challenge. If you really want to test yourself, you could try the Descent 2, in which every pause you do 5 press-ups and you up the number of press-ups every time. So you're going to go 2 minutes, 5 press-ups, 1:58, 10 press-ups, 1:56, 15 press-ups, 1:54, 20 press-ups. The Descent 2, worse than the Descent 1. Okay, so there was always going to be a CrossFit workout in this list. There are a lot of CrossFit workouts that could have made it. CrossFit's whole thing is kind of tough, short workouts. But I think head and shoulders above all of them is Fran. So Fran uses a number scheme that I think is pretty familiar to people who do CrossFit, but not very big anywhere else. It goes 21, 15, 9 reps of pull-ups and thrusters. Now, thrusters are kind of like a squat, but you push the bar overhead at the end of the move. And the pull-ups, traditionally in CrossFit style, you're allowed to kip these. So that means you can put as much knee movement in as you want. If you know how to do it, you can do what are called butterfly pull-ups or kipping pull-ups. And that kind of makes it easier to do more reps of pull-ups, but it also increases the cardio load. And kind of the beauty / horror of Fran is that you can always keep going because the movements are so directly opposed. Like one of them is a push and a squat, and the other one is kind of a pull and a full body motion. You can push through this, and because the reps keep descending, you can always just about finish the sets in one go if you've got a kind of base level of fitness. But what it means is you can absolutely wreck yourself with this workout. Like top guys will finish this in like 3 minutes. But it's a workout that they might warm up for an hour before they do it. I think my PB at this workout is about 5 minutes. And after that, I was just done for the rest of the afternoon. Fran is maybe the worst CrossFit workout I've ever done. And I've done a lot of them. Okay, so Jonescrawl is kind of one of the lesser known Jim Jones workouts. It's one they do at all their level 1 training seminars. But outside of that, it's not as popular as the CrossFit ones. It's pretty simple and it's pretty nasty. So the rules are, you take 115% of your own body weight, put that on a bar. You're going to do 10 deadlifts with that. Then you're going to do 25 box jumps, 60 centimeter box. And then you're going to repeat that 3 times. Now, this is horrible because you've got nowhere to go in this workout. The deadlifts are going to fry your legs, and then the box jumps are going to do everything else. The real secret with this one is to not try and power through the first set. Keep like a steady pace that you can keep going until the end. If you can do it in about 4 minutes, then you're doing great. But this took me an embarrassingly long time at the seminar. This is one of those workouts where you feel like you can always get another rep if you can just get your breath back and get it together. But that's a lot easier said than done. Okay, so the burpee ladder is another one of those workouts that's deceptively simple and you can do it anyway. You can do it today. All you're going to do is set a clock running, do 1 burpee in the first minute the clock is running. Minute 2, you're going to do 2 burpees. Minute 3, you're going to do 3 burpees. Just keep going till you can't get the burpees within the minute anymore. I reckon about 11 burpees is pretty good going. I've seen people do this up to about, I think, 15, and I just don't know how they do it. This is one that I did at a seminar run by Michael Blevins, who is one of the guys who helped Henry Cavill get ready for his role as Superman. And kind of the secret to this one, he told me, is that once you work out what your baseline is with it, you find out what number of burpees you can do. You want to take about 70% of that number. So let's say you've done 10 burpees as your max. You take 70% of that, so that's 7 burpees. And you're going to do that on the minute, every minute for 20 minutes. Do that like once. Next week, try and up it by a burpee. So you'll do 8 on the minute every minute. And then next week, you might do 9. Next week, you might do 10. And then you're going to retest and you should be able to push your numbers higher. It's never going to be pleasant because you're always going to failure. But it's a great way to get like your work capacity up. Get your burpees in. Okay, so the Airdyne is a machine that kind of, you used to only see it like those really old school boxing gyms, and then it's kind of become fashionable. Now there are new versions of it coming out. You might have heard it called like an assault bike, an air bike, all sorts of things. But it's basically that bike with the handles and the pedals, so you can like thrash your whole body in one. People used to do it very slowly for a sort of full body exercise, like an old person thing. Now people just absolutely ruin themselves in professional sporting competitions on them. The all-out Airdyne is a thing I did with my then friend Peter Vodden, and it's simple. You just probably warm up for like 10-20 minutes. You need it, and then you're just going to go for as many calories on the Airdyne as you can in 1 minute. Now it kind of varies, like bike by bike. It's going to vary what a good number for this is. I did 35, but some bikes are harder, some bikes are easier. The main thing is you just thrash yourself on this workout. You can always keep going. It's just push, 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 push. It feels like a sprint for the first 10 seconds. Then everything after that is holding on. I did this. I felt quite bad during it. And then for the rest of the day, I felt absolutely terrible. Like my mouth tasted a little bit like copper. it was so unpleasant. I didn't know what I'd done to myself, but it's a great test to do occasionally. And the only reason it's not number one is because it doesn't actually take that long. Unlike... Okay, so 2K is kind of the standard distance that rowers worry about. It's the distance of all the Olympic rowing competitions. It's a great indicator of where you are as a rower in anything you do. The kind of baseline for a good row is 7 minutes or less, depending on like your height, your weight, a whole bunch of different things. If you're like a huge 6-foot guy, 7 minutes isn't especially unpleasant. I am not that tall and I am not that heavy. And when I set out to do a 7-minute 2K row, I did not know that I was setting myself up for one of the worst experiences of my life. I probably spent about 6 months training different kinds of row, testing it every so often. And I did a lot of 2K rows in that time. The secret to a 2K row is there is no part of it that isn't quite nasty. You start out by kind of sprinting to get the flywheel going on the rower, and then the first maybe 2 minutes kind of feels okay. You're just setting a pace. You know what's coming. You know it's going to be nasty, but you've got to keep it going. Then, like the worst part is probably that period from about 500 meters till just over 1,000, where you're like, I don't think I'm going to be able to keep this pace up. That's where the kind of mind games come in. There's a lot of self-talk in this workout. There's a lot of time for it to happen. Your brain is constantly going, you're not going to be able to keep hitting this pace, but you have to keep going. You push through that bit. The downside from like about 1,000 meters to 1,500 meters is just super horrible. There's that lactate acid buildup. Everything in your body is telling you to stop doing what you're doing, but you just got to get through it. Then, I mean, the last bit, the last 500, like at least you're nearly at the end. That's all I can say. Like you're going to get to a point where you there's something left in the tank. Ideally, I've heard people say about this, if you're not slowing down as you go over the line, you left too much in the tank. So you're going to get some power strokes. You're going to get a kind of second, third wind just before you get to the end where you can do some really big pulls, but it's just suffering. And you're just going to hit it hard. You're going to sprint the end. You're going to be slowing down by the time you finish, and you're going to leave everything you've got on the rower. And most people fall off the rower after this. It is that unpleasant, but I cannot recommend it enough as a workout. Like every other workout in this video, the 2K for time is something that you should do occasionally. It's something to test yourself. It's not like a thing that will necessarily make you better. It's something to check where you are. It's something to make sure you've got that mentality, that ability to push. Because if you can do that, if you can push yourself in a workout, you can push yourself in so many other areas of life. It will make you better, I promise. If you've got a workout that's harder than this, a workout you'd like to see me try, I would love to hear about it in the comments. If you've tried any of these, please let me know how you got on. If you have any other ideas for workout related videos you would like to see, please let me know. In the meantime, please do subscribe. It makes these videos easier to make, and good training.